hello to both of you. Thanks for joining us on our Vancouver. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's an incredibly captivating story. Thank you for chronicling it. I know it obviously took a while, but so let's go back to the start of this endeavor. And Sean, maybe with you first. How did you first find out about this group and its sponsorship of Drake?
A lot of this film is because of Rainbow Refugee, which is a Vancouver organization that helps queer asylum seekers around the world find refuge in Canada. So they've been operating in Vancouver for 20 years. This is something that we've seen tons of people, our friends, our colleagues, people in our community have been doing this. We see it on social media all the time. So it's always been in the background for us. And then in 2015,
yeah, it was just the time we were looking for a queer story to kind of just tell what was happening in the queer community right now, or at that time, sorry. And at that time, there's anti-immigration, there's a lot of anti-refugee rhetoric that's being spread around. Trump's coming to power. So it's just a time where there's a lot of that in the air. And then on the other side, you have these people who are coming together, queer strangers, to support people overseas that are in need of help. And we just thought it was a really interesting story.
No, and because of that, I assume you had to be on your best behavior as you've got that access and you're chronicling this. And I understand the year of sponsorship, wasn't easy. What did it show you about the complications and commitment needed to take on this kind of a project?
That's a good question. I mean, I think we had a lot of ideas going into this. For starters, I mean, the people who sponsored Drake, they were 12 strangers. I mean, sometimes these groups are all friends, sometimes they're complete strangers. And you can imagine what it's like to work with a group. I mean, we've all done group work before, and 12 people, at least for me, I'm not going to get along with everybody, which probably says something about me. But in this case, I mean, it's really emotional work. Everyone had their own expectations of what was going to happen when Drake arrived. And we don't want to give any spoilers away for people watching, but something happened that no one anticipated. We didn't anticipate in all our years of planning, and it changed everything. And I mean, this is a film with a lot of twists and turns and surprises. And also after that incident that we're referring to, the pandemic hits. So I mean, it's like
full of twists.
Yep.
Oh, you've got to pivot like a lot of folks in these times, for sure. Now, what about the group itself, Rainbow Refugee? Do you think they learned about themselves in this process?
Yeah, I think that everybody involved was able to kind of reflect back on what happened. Rainbow Refugee does this frequently. Like they have, I think, like right now they have close to 40 groups going at one time. So they're used to this sort of thing, and I think that they're always just trying to navigate through this situation, because every newcomer that they welcome over comes from a different story, a different background. There's all sorts of things that you need to face when you do this.
And what I'll say about our group, I mean, it was like when we wanted to create a portrait of the queer community, they are all young, they are all queer. It's from all across the LGBTQ spectrum, gender diversity, different sexualities. It was, for us, this film, the fact that all these people said yes and wanted to make this commitment with us to shoot over 15 months, it was such a huge commitment. But it really does show the diversity in Vancouver and in the queer community here, and really the power of what happens when people come together to change somebody's life. The power of community. It's
tell us more about Drake. Being gay in Uganda, first of all, and what of Drake now, and what he's doing these days.
Yeah, Drake's doing well. He's working, he's dating, he's living his best Vancouver life. When he left home, he was quite young, and he found his way to Nairobi, and he was there for 4 years and was able to find his own path and figure out how the asylum process worked, and was able to get himself to Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite the process. I mean, refugees, it's hard for all refugees. And for queer refugees, there's another layer to that experience of having to leave your home country to claim asylum in a second country. I mean, most often you're going to be in the closet. There are over 70 countries around the world where you can be imprisoned or murdered just for your sexuality or your gender identity. When you look at somebody like Drake, his story is really powerful. It's representative of so many people around the world. And he is one brave, accomplished young man for doing all of this to get himself to Canada. So,
Indeed, and just tell us more about the sponsors, that group, and I mean, are they still close?
yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, a lot of the story, there's a young immigration lawyer named Kay and their partner Emily. There's a grad student named David and his partner Brenda, and then there are 8 other individuals that we filmed with. It is a very layered portrait of a bunch of different lives. So if you are going in, Drake's story, as we mentioned, is one part of this, but it's like there is something in this film for everyone. And I think it's a really interesting way to look at our community here in Vancouver and honor all this work that happens here. And have a couple laughs, I should say. I mean, it is the queer community. Yeah. And I know this is a serious topic, but you'll laugh and you'll cry. Let me put it that way.
What could be better? We love that, laughing and crying. All right, well, listen, congratulations to both of you, Sean, Steve. Best of luck with this and DOXA, and of course your future projects. We appreciate you joining us on Our Vancouver.
Thanks for having us.